part of, I'd say at least 12, both teams have been ranked. So it's been a very, very contested games where you're not walking into it going, oh, it's a foregone conclusion. This team is going to win.
What stands out to you, Jeff, when you watch Kentucky on film? What do they do well?
Well, it's a ball club that they get the ball inside well to Petty. She has really played well the last 3 weeks. Just been very efficient. She knows a double team is coming. She's scoring out of a double team. She's rebounding the ball well. The kid's got a motor. It's what impresses me. She pursues a basketball. She rebounds outside of her area, and then they've got some players that understand what their roles are. I mean, which is really important. You've got to be able to get the ball to the right people, and they have been doing that. It's a team that hasn't been similar to us in a way of neither of us has really shot the three extremely well, but I've watched a lot of these kids play in summer, recruited them, and they're a better three-point shooting team than what they've shown through the first 10 ball games. So we're going into it knowing we've got to defend both in the paint and outside.
Jeff, you guys have won 4 in a row, and that kind of coincides with you deciding to start Nina Rickards and put her in the starting lineup. What have you seen differently out of your ball club when she's in the starting rotation, even though and what's her status since she got hurt early in that last game?
Yeah, she is good. She is good to go. She's practiced well, and she just gives us a little more spark at the beginning of games. But I think Jada has played well the past 4 games as well. She's come off the bench and shot the ball well for us and scored, which is what we need her to do. I need her to be aggressive at both ends of the floor and look to score, as she is a proven scorer. And it's like I tell them all. I mean, you can only start 5 players, but if you look at our stats, I mean, we've got about 8 that are playing, or 9, about 25 minutes a game, 20 to 25 minutes. So it's not impacting the amount of time she's playing. And what I try to explain to all of them is, as a player, if you gave me the choice, do you want to start the game or finish the game? I'd prefer to finish the game. I'd rather be on the floor at the end when it truly matters. Because when the score is 0-0 and there's 40 minutes to go in the game, does it really matter who starts? So, that's what we're really trying to make sure all of our players know. Do your jobs. No matter when your number's called, be prepared to perform. And, I've been pleased with how we've played the past 4 or 5 games. So hopefully we can continue that.
Jeff, just kind of going off that, as of right now, who do you feel confident with when the game ends? Who's on the court at that time?
Well,
is there somebody in mind there?
No, that's really the thing about it is we have the depth that we have. Whoever is playing well in that game. So that's what I challenge them all about. Is like, make sure you're playing your best. Make sure every night I know who I can count on. I told them down in our tournament in Houston, as a coach, if you want to have a good team, you have to have 2 players. 2 players that before the game starts, I know what the stat sheet is going to look like. I know exactly what I'm going to get. That's a good team. If you want to be a really good team, you have 3. You have 3 kids. You want to be great, you have 4. And if you can have more than 4, it's a special year. You've got a special team. And at this point in time, I asked them before our Liberty game, who on this team every night before the game starts through the first 5 or 6, whatever we had played, or 3 or 4, do you guys know, okay, yeah, this is what I'm going to get? And Nina was the name. She was the only name. And if you look back at the first 4 games, she was the most consistent player every game. And I go, that's our problem right now. Is as a coach, I don't know who I'm getting. And I think it's improved since then because I think our kids are starting to realize, okay, it's important that we give coach confidence. As I always say, throughout my 29 years of doing this, I love when players, and this group has not as of yet. but I love when players always say, Coach, you got to give me confidence. And I explain to them, confidence goes two ways. If I'm putting you in the game, I'm giving you confidence. What are you doing to give me confidence while you're out there? And we've talked about that with these players, with this team. And I've seen a lot more progress in the past, four games of just consistency. How hard are you going to play? Are you going to go after a rebound hard every time or just once out of every 3 or 4? So right now, whoever's playing the best during that game is who I'm going to have on the floor. But I'm hoping that we get more consistency as this year goes to where I can have a pretty good idea. These 3 will be on the floor at the end. Now, I will tell you the one great thing about it so far is there's nobody right now that I can't have on the floor because they can't make a free throw. That's a luxury right now that's great to have, that no matter who's out there, if they get a rebound, there's not just one player. Who are we going to pick on to go foul to make them make a free throw? We're shooting close to 80% as a team.
It sounds like kind of gave the answer to the question I've got for you. But you guys have been playing better as the game wears on in the fourth quarter, doing well in the fourth quarter. Is that kind of that drive? I want the best. Who's playing the best on the floor late in the game?
Yeah.
Is that kind of motivation? Is that what's fueling that? You think?
I would think, and just the motivation of wanting to be able to perform for 40 minutes. We just talked about that in practice because our first hour and 50 today was really good. Our last 10 minutes was sloppy. And that's where I'm like, guys, games are 2 hours. They're 2 hours. Can we stay focused for 2 hours? Because I'm not someone who's practicing for 4 hours. That's not what I do. We're going out there, we are getting after it for 2 hours. And we're working on being able to have a really good 2 hours every day. And that doesn't mean you're making shots, but it means you're executing. A scouting report. You're paying attention. When a coach instructs a teammate of what to do when you go out on the next rep, you're making the change that the coach just told the player but before you to make. Those are the things that we're really working on. And I'm starting to see some progress. And hopefully on Saturday, you'll see a ball club that puts 40 minutes together and not 35 or 38, but all 40.
Who has the best chance, you think, to be number 2 and maybe number 3 that you can count on?
Well, we're sitting here, we're looking at, Olivia has performed well throughout her career, Nyla and Kiki. That's what makes it so good, is we've got 6 or 7 that if we can figure it out, we could be a team that I've got 5 that I know what I'm going to get. And then all of a sudden, we could be a hard out for someone when we start conference play, ACC tournament, and then hopefully the NCAA tournament.
Jeff, I think you guys have forced at least 20 turnovers in 7 straight games. Every year you talk a lot about embracing the defensive challenge, that the standard that you guys have here. How do you think this group's responding to that end of the floor when considering that stat?
Well, we are doing a much better job of that. Now, our challenge has been converting them into points. I think our Ole Miss game, which we ended up coming away with a win, but we forced them into 21 turnovers, but only scored 18 points. So it does you no good if you turn them over and then give it back to them. So that's been something that we've really been talking about and showing them on film. Yeah, great job of forcing all these turnovers, but how many points are we getting off of them? It's like I used to be really big on offensive boards. How many offensive rebounds are you getting in a game? It's telling me how active you are. And we used to have a goal. We wanted 12 or more offensive boards. Well, we'd have some games where we'd have 18 of them. And then when I'd look down at the stats, it'd be like 6 points off of offensive rebounds. Well, it does you no good if you're just playing ante over. I get it, throw it to you, miss it, I miss it, you miss it, and then the other team gets it. Sure, we had 4 offensive rebounds. That's fantastic, but couldn't make a layup. So now all I care about is points. Our goal, I think, on the board out there is 12 plus offensive points off of offensive rebounds, second chance points. If we get 12 plus, I don't care if we get 4 O boards. That's all we get for the game, and we kick them out for for threes, and we go 4 for 4 from three, well, there's our 12 points. And you might look at the stat sheet and be like, man, they really didn't get anything done. It's free throws. If you actually go back and look at our free throw shooting, we're shooting an incredible percentage as a team. But if you actually look at the points off of the free throw line, we're close to 90% right now. So if we make the first, miss the second, we're getting the rebound and scoring. Well, now the way I do my math for that, that's 3 out of 2. Because if you'd made the second, you weren't going to get a chance for an O board. So I keep track of the number of points we get when we go to the free throw line, and we're up over 90% right now.
Coach Liv's right on the brink of 1,000 career points. As her coach, I guess, kind of what will that moment mean to you and seeing?
Well, it just means that she shot a lot. No, I mean, O's been a joy to coach. She's just a wonderful young lady. It's been so much fun to watch her maturity from her freshman year to her senior year. Her game has continued to evolve. She's really worked on her free throw line jump shot, 8 to 10 feet in the short corner, and that's continuing to get better. But the one thing you never, ever question is her work ethic, how hard she's going to play in a game. And there are sometimes I've talked to her that, going so hard has gotten her in foul trouble sometimes. Like every once in a while, it's okay to not go after that loose ball, because we don't want to pick up a second foul in the first quarter. But, I'm excited for O. She has done so many great things for us here. You're looking at a Elite Eight, a Final Four, an Elite Eight. Her first 3 years. I mean, that's, that's an accomplishment 99% of college basketball players would die to be able to do in 4 or 5 years. And that's her first 3, and she started, all 3 years. So I'm excited. I'd love to see her be able to do it in this game, because we're going to need her to play well for sure. And the thing I'll tell you too, which I've really been impressed with and I appreciate about her, is even in our North Carolina A&T game, I can go back to the Bucknell, the Bellarmine game. She's a kid. She played 13 minutes in our Bellarmine game and had 10 points. And I looked at her like, hey, I'm going to put you back out there. She's like, Coach, I'm fine. I'm good. Give the others a chance. Let them get the game minutes. And that it's hard to find. Asia Durr was the same way. Because as a coach, you're wanting to make sure that I'm giving her minutes as well, even in games that we're up big. But when you've got a player who's understanding and wants their teammates to get game experience, it makes my life a lot easier. And I really appreciate that about her.
You talked about Kentucky's interior game with Petty, and also that you're worried about they're concerned about their three-point shooting. How's your defense shaping up, do you think?
Well, I think we have done a pretty good job defensively. Our three-point shooting defense is what we have to continue to work on. But it's really, it's interesting because we're only allowing teams to shoot 31%. But if we could take out one player's first quarter or first half, it's probably down into the low 20s. But for some reason, it takes us a little bit of time to realize when we say a kid's a shooter that they're really a shooter. So hopefully that will not happen on Sunday, and we'll go into the game prepared. But overall, I'd like to see us get the opponent's field goal percentage down into the mid-30s. We're allowing them to shoot close to 41%, which is just it's too much. But I will say, one of your goals, and we've only done it here 2 or 3 times, I think, is you want to make more free throws than your opponents take. And we're on that stretch for right now, where in the past, some of our past years, it's been flip-flopped. Because we have been really good at fouling in the past. So we're getting a little bit better at that and not fouling as much. Anything else? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you to look ahead a little bit. And I know it's a short sample survey, and so almost a month to go, well, 3 weeks, before you get into the ACC play. What does that league look like to you at
Oh,
this
it's
point?
really good. Yeah, our league's really, really good. I mean, you've got a Clemson ball club that just beat Duke last night at home handedly. Duke just went and won at Georgia, I believe, in that ACC SEC challenge. Played Stanford extremely well out there at Stanford. Now, I mean, we've got some great NC State's top 5. They were picked 8th in our league. Yeah, I think it's one of the best we've had, again, from top to bottom. When I'm looking at our schedule, I'm going, okay, where are the wins? You know, and it's getting to a point now. It's like, well, that's going to be a good game. That's going to be a good game. That's going to. But yes, I've been very, very impressed. I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you.
Good fouling team, huh?
Good what?
You said a good fouling team.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good.